This is an exciting time for Carmat. You are just announcing today that you're planning to float the company on the Euronext Exchange. Your company is trying to build a entirely artificial human heart. That a lot of others have tried and failed. But one of the company's big differentiators is behind it is Professor Carpentier, one of the most distinguished French heart surgeons, who has been a pioneer in heart valve treatment. Can you tell us a little bit about his accomplishments and how they can be applied to building an entire human heart?
Yes, I see that Carpentier is definitely one of the most well-known person in heart operations and heart treatment, and his initial idea that made the fortune of all the products that he developed has been that to make them completely biocompatible. So the idea is to use materials and to build around these materials the surgical act in order to make those products completely biocompatible. He developed basically two major platforms: the biological valves made by bovine pericardium, treated with a fully patented formula that give those prostheses the possibility to work in humans now for around 30 years. So it means that a patient that has been implanted 30 years ago, they still have a biological valve with enormous advantages, because they should not do any kind of anticoagulation treatment. The valve is going to degenerate or to somehow to become old as the other valve, so you don't have any urgency, where on the mechanical valves you should do lots of control, and if there are any issue, as unfortunately has been in the past, there are no chance for the patient because there are no time to intervene on the patient itself. More than 1 out of 2 patients today that is going to have either the replacement or the plastic of the valve is going to use either a Carpentier biological valve or a Carpentier ring. So 1 or 2 in the entire planet today, including North America. And what is the major difference of Carmat? That the intuition of Professor Carpentier is to use the same kind of technology and treatment to make the artificial heart completely biocompatible. So to avoid any kind of thrombosis issue that has been the failing point of any other experience that has been developed so far. I say that the patients are there since origin, and this is an unmet medical need that a number of individuals and institutions address, but here the major difference is that it's completely biocompatible. Another major difference that Professor Carpentier have done, and is online with his original idea also on valve and on rings, is to make it completely physiological. So we are going to have with the Carmat artificial heart, the first artificial heart is completely auto-regulated. So the heart is going to follow the patient needs in terms of cardiac output, as well as the normal heart. The third thing is, in order to allow to have a very large use of this technology, so adoption of this technological platform, is the fact that the surgical act should be equal or very similar to the today's surgical act. Has been exactly the same for valve and rings, and is going to be now for the Carmat heart, that is going to replace the natural heart in the same way that a transplantation is doing that today. So the surgical act remain not only the same, even facilitated vis-a-vis the present one.
So you're about a year away from transplanting in humans, is that correct?
It's going to be our first, we expect to have our first implant, and we expect to have it in the second half of 2011, 12 to 18 months far from.
If I understand correctly, this implant will first be used in patients with heart failure who would die otherwise. Is that correct?
Yes, I do believe that this is the way in which we expected that the authority is going to allow us to start this clinical. So we are going to have a patient that have a very, unfortunately, very short expected life. And those patients are not in the transplant waiting list on top because of course, we have to first, in any kind of new introduction, we have to evaluate the risk.
Yes,
of the prosthesis.
of course.
And on this one, those are our first recruitment in terms of patient. Those patients, we expect to stay for the original part of the hospital, got to be checked properly at the hospital. But our idea is that as soon as we get, with very few patients, enough information that everything goes along our plan, we do expand the indications. So we're going to have a patient that have in different solution that could benefit even more of our prosthesis.
How many patients like that are there around the world?
Today, first of all, you should remember that cardiac failure is the main cause of death in the world. And we have done a lot of market analysis, and definitely, even to be really prudent, in the we continue to call them developing countries, so North America, Canada, and Europe, definitely more than 100,000 patients a year is going to be a potential candidate for heart substitution. Keep in mind that only less than 4,000 of them today could get a transplant. So basically more than 95% of those patients have no alternative today. So this is our potential market.
How big is a market is this financially?
Financially, we could make a different kind of aspect. We do expect that our market is definitely just considering the clinical cost, not considering the social cost, lack of work, loss of competences, those kind of things that are very easy also to make available, is going to be in excess of 15 billions. That is the value, the potential value of the potential market for a device that is going to sort out these situations.
Well, that market size, and not, of course, not forgetting to mention the huge technological breakthrough, has helped Carmat raise quite a bit of money so far. Can you tell us about that, and then tell us how much more you expect to raise by going public?
I would like to start with what we have done so far. I think what we have done so far has been an enormous initial investment in money, but overall in commitment and quality of human being died by ADS. That is the largest European industry for aerospace. Is that the industry that produce the Airbus that most probably everybody of us is going to take every week when we fly. And this investment has been minimum in the range of 50 million euro. And then since we spun off from ADS, so June 2008, we are spending over $70 million euros in the program. Now, this came from our three major investors that are ADS itself, the foundation of Professor Carpentier. So Carpentier is not only bringing his image, commitment, credibility, patience, but also his intellectual properties, and also financial contribution of his foundation. And Truffle Capital, that is a financial institution here in Paris that is specialized in successfully support of a small innovative company at the very beginning. On top of it, we got the largest grant ever given by OSEO, that is the European organization to support a small innovative company, and they provide us with a global grant in different form of 33 millions that is going to be used by Carmat since 2009 when we got it till 2013, the time that we expect to commercialize our products.
Okay, and by going public, you hope to raise about how much?
We hope to raise around 15 millions. That is going to give us the possibility to arrive at all the patient needed for the CE marking. That is the key steps to get into the commercialization.